What are we whispering about?
This is gonna be so special. I win!
I definitely want to talk about the first episode with that Al and Alda scene. It has so much meat to it, and it was such a beautiful sort of like, he gave this like thesis statement sort of moment on marriage, and I thought it was so lovely. Did you always know you wanted a scene like that, or did that actually emerge later on in the writing?
Well, we were hoping that Alan could do a cameo, and we were so excited that it was able to work out. And when we knew we had him, we're like, well, you have him, so you want to use that moment to have him say something really special, like when he made the original film, how beautifully he kind of captured what marriage is like and what these friendships are like. So we did know we wanted him to say something heartwarming and that something that felt true about marriage.
That must have been so nice to have him on set and like give the blessing, sort of passing over the torch to you guys. That's lovely. When you guys were developing the storyline also with Nick's death especially, what were the challenges of making this feel like more of an organic part of the show, especially given the original movie's sort of restrained plot? They didn't really do that.
Well, I think the challenge of adapting the film is that we, had 8 episodes. So we obviously had to add more plot, but I think the decision to have Nick die was one we thought about for a while, but we kind of wanted something, it's middle-aged is this like time in your life where you're acting like younger than you are, but then there are the realities of actually getting older and things do happen, in real life. You do lose friends. And I think, the thing that's beautiful about Nick is he's like taking his own life into his hands. Like he's like, I need to live. I want to feel alive. And we wanted to show someone who is, having a midlife crisis, but actually making a decision for himself to kind of live the life he wanted to live. And I think that is like the tragedy of it, is that like he finally figured it out. He figured out what he wants. And also just to show that these friends, loved him so much and were sort of stricken by the suddenness of it. And that is kind of how it happens in real life.
Yeah, and it works so well, but I'm wondering, was there ever a version where you didn't have to kill Nick? Because Steve Carell's wonderful, and I'm sure you guys loved having him on set.
I mean, we regretted it immediately. When we were shooting the show and it was too late, we were like, why have we done this?
He's so wonderful.
He's so wonderful both to work with and on the show. We made a terrible error. No. It was what was right for the story.
It was right for the story. But, I think that if there are future seasons, hopefully there are ways we can, do flashbacks or incorporate him again, because he is he is one of a kind.
Yeah. Were there any scenes in particular? Because when I was talking to the others, there's a lot of scenes that I loved. The Candle in the Wind was my favorite. When Anne's trying to get out of the boat and like she's not helping herself, and was there anything that made you guys crack up that when you wrote it on paper and then when you finally saw it, you just kind of like lost your shit? Like you could not. Yeah.
One that killed me
I know what you're going to say.
You know what I'm going to say. I loved it when we wrote it and not being able to open the strawberry guy to show the surf instructor that she had a little flirtation with, that it was wrapped for the airport and she couldn't get it open for a long time. Yeah. But I love that as an idea. But on the day, I was losing it. We were in Puerto Rico. We did it so many times, and Kerri was so funny and just taking this emotional journey where at one point I was like, oh, she's laughing and is going to start crying while she's opening the strawberry. It was so much. It was a case of you write something, but then only like great acting can elevate it to, what the scene ended up being, which I thought was kind of the perfect version of what we had written.
It was so good. It was really funny. And I think I was kind of screaming in the sense that it was more like cringy funny. And it's just like, it worked so well though, because he's trying to help her and she can't.
And he's being so nice to her.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So human and sad.
Yeah, so sad. We're all relatable. It's all very relatable though. Working with Tina Fey also and having her have this character in the show, working with Will Forte, who's the two of them have amazing chemistry, obviously from past history, but they worked so well as a couple. Do we think in season 2, which I'm fingers crossed, I really hope we see more. Are they okay? Like after that ice issue, they're crying. She's in. I was really scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. Yeah.
I mean, I think that we wanted their story to be the sort of like truest to the most marriages out there, that like you have these ups, you have these downs, you fight, and then you are like, no, but you're my person. You're the person I love the most in the world. And so, yeah, I think like whatever, if there is a season 2, whatever it would be, like, I think we love these two together, and they will have their problems and issues. But I feel like what we hope we showed is that, like, they've been together for decades, and they are the reason why long marriages are great.
The reveal that Ginny is pregnant with Nick's baby is a huge twist. I did not see that coming. What were the goals in helping to make that reveal? And like, how do you see that maybe shaping for season 2?
Loved the idea of keeping Ginny in the group, and because of these things that happened, she, her partner died, and now she is going to have a child who is a sibling to Anne's daughter. That it sort of, it sort of kept her in the mix and part of this little gang going into season 2. And it also was from the original movie that happens in the movie, and and it also is how life is, that always when a terrible tragedy happens, or I feel like this in my own life, it's like it often comes on the back of something hopeful happening. It always in life is happening at the same time.
I really did love this show, and I really hope that there's a season 2. Was there any other stories that you guys maybe feel like we should be looking forward to for season 2? If you could speak to that. I know we haven't been picked up, but I'm hoping.
I mean, we have like a bunch of ideas, but we're, haven't settled on anything yet. But you can probably expect 4 more trips.
4 more. They go on more trips. Yeah. And I think we would want it isn't an anthology kind of show where we would want to mix up the group so much. You want to see this group of friends continuing their next year of life and kind of the hills and valleys of their marriages and their friendships. But
there could be like new additions, like Anne could have a new partner, or, right. Jenny could have a new partner. Who knows? Like there could be fun new guest stars to add.
How do you top Terry? I mean, he sang Candle in the Wind, and he did so good.
Terry was a gem.